Hello, everyone. I'm Sen, and you're listening to the San Nguyen Podcast. Today, as I sit here on a peaceful afternoon in Ho Chi Minh City, which is also the first day of the new year 2022, I want to send wishes of peace, health, and happiness to all of you, my friends and listeners of San Nguyen Podcast, no matter where you are in the world. The transition from one year to the next often brings regrets. We regret things we didn't accomplish, unfinished plans, or abandoned projects. But I believe time doesn't allow us to dwell on those regrets forever. Instead, we should focus on the present and start outlining our plans for the future in this new year. We are born for fresh starts, aren't we? No matter how bad the past year might have been, everything can begin anew. Recently, I've released quite a few videos about planning together and looking back at the past year, sharing some of my own advice with everyone, which are also lessons for myself. So, you can check out these videos on my YouTube channel, a channel I've been dedicated to for 4 years. There are so many videos and memories captured there, showing my growth and development, which I feel incredibly grateful to look back on so clearly. YouTube isn't just a job, it's a realm of my memories, and it's also where we've met. You, who are listening to this podcast, are also a beautiful memory for me. Perhaps we've never seen each other in real life, never talked or met, but I believe there's an invisible connection, a powerful force from deep within each person's soul. My emotions right now, at this moment of stepping into a new year, feel quite light and peaceful. It's very different from previous years. Usually when a new year begins, there's a mix of many emotions. I wonder if you're also feeling a lot of mixed emotions, but for me, last year, for instance, I had so many plans, a strong sense of excitement and hope that was greater than now. At the same time, the regrets were also more abundant than now. After a year, I see my emotions have changed quite a bit. I have a habit of journaling, and I often look back to see how I felt at this exact moment last year or the year before. And each time, I recognize so much growth and so many differences within myself. This year, everything seems calmer and more serene for me. I still have plans, even things I've never done before, but I'm a bit more cautious. I plan things meticulously and in more detail, rather than investing too many emotions and expectations. I believe the most important thing to make my plans more realistic is to use my rationality to outline concrete plans. And what about you? Do you have any plans for the new year? Plans related to work, love, experiences, or developing your own skills? Sen hopes you can take a moment to write down what you want to achieve in the new year. Because sometimes, these small things can inspire you and help you clearly visualize the person you want to become through the words in your journals. Honestly, sometimes I'm really curious about the lives of the people who are listening to me. Because the more I know about your lives, perhaps the more I'll understand and be able to share more meaningful things with everyone. So, sometimes, don't hesitate to leave comments and share your thoughts. Sen will always take the time to read them. Our lives are all so different. Imagine we're all under the same sky, even in the same country, in the same world, yet each of us has our own private worries. We have our own joys, our own sorrows. We grew up differently, have different preferences, and differing perspectives on life. And Sen believes it's precisely these differences that create a diverse world. There's one thing Sen really wants to share with you all this new year. This is perhaps one of the things that has changed my life profoundly, something I might not have shared anywhere else yet. That's because I truly wanted to save it for my book. I worried that if I shared everything now, what would be left for the book? So, I really wanted to keep some things hidden for the book. The thing that has changed me so much is that I no longer demand understanding from others. For Sen, the desire for understanding is normal. We naturally want others to understand who we are, don't we? We want to be understood in an appropriate way. Having someone who understands you is truly wonderful. Being with such a person makes everything feel so light. All difficulties or misunderstandings become easy to talk about because they understand you, and you understand them. But Sen believes we should let everything happen naturally, and we should open up to each other organically, rather than forcing others to understand us. Even if they don't fully understand you, it's not something we should blame them for. In the past, I used to blame a few people because of that lack of understanding in our relationships, which often led to us drifting apart. In recent years, as I've gradually learned to look deeper within and understand myself more, I realized something. I don't even fully understand myself yet. I don't even know how to truly and honestly express who I am. So, how can others understand me 100%? How can I demand understanding from others if I don't even understand myself and don't know how to truly present who I am to the outside world? We often hear people say, be yourself. But sometimes, there are moments when we aren't ourselves. We have to be someone else, do things people don't like, things we don't find interesting, meet people we find annoying or uncomfortable, yet we still have to smile. Sometimes, we have to attend unwanted meetings and gatherings. But at those moments, are we truly ourselves? I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps only each of us truly knows how that feels. In the past, I had an older sister. She was my first boss when I moved to Saigon, and to this day, we're still quite close. Once she gave a speech, and the topic she talked about was don't be yourself. I was a bit surprised by that topic, because up until then, I thought we had asterisk to be ourselves, we had asterisk to be unique. How could we be someone else? But as I listened to what she said, I felt that, we're not entirely ourselves all the time, everywhere. In those years when we didn't know who we were or what we wanted, we would be someone else, more specifically, the ideal person we aspired to be. We're easily influenced by others without even realizing it. There are images and people around you that make you want to be like them. From that conversation, I also realized many interesting aspects. How can we be ourselves when we don't even know who we are, what our worth is, or what we want to do? So sometimes, don't feel too much pressure if you can't be yourself, because you're still on that journey, on the path to finding yourself. And it's okay, because sometimes we just can't be ourselves. And now, I no longer demand understanding from others. In fact, if others can't understand me, that's perfectly fine. Because I believe that within every one of us, there's a hidden corner, a secret part that we rarely show or share. There are currents of emotion that we don't find truly easy to express to others. Honestly, the human psyche is so complex, my friends. I find myself complex too. Sometimes I'm one way, sometimes another. Even occasionally, my thoughts change from what I previously believed. Because I'm still young and have so many experiences ahead, I think it's very easy for change to happen. The more I explore and understand myself, the more I truly realize how difficult it is for anyone to truly understand me 100%. So, I no longer feel the urge to blame others for not understanding me. Instead, I am truly, deeply grateful for those who are patient with me, even if they find me a very difficult person to understand. Yet, they remain there, continuing to be by my side, watching me grow, supporting, and encouraging me. All of us have certain differences, and perhaps what we need most is mutual respect. Even if we don't understand each other 100%, we still desperately need that respect. It seems to be what helps a relationship last and grow stronger over time. Deep inside us, there's always something we don't share with everyone. Do you agree with me on that? Even if you sometimes say, oh, I can share everything with my partner, my husband, my wife, or my parents, my close friends. But let's be honest with ourselves, there are still things we keep to ourselves. There are indeed such things. That's our inner world, which is very difficult for anyone to fully access. A child is very innocent. They can say anything, curious about everything in life. But as we grow older, a little older, with the pressures and responsibilities of an adult, sometimes we have to hide ourselves behind a very strong, resilient shell. But Sen thinks that's okay. There are things we should keep in our hearts, things we want to hide, things we need to hide, and things we shouldn't say out loud. So, the most important thing we need to do is understand ourselves, my friends. This has always been a message I want to convey to everyone. In reality, understanding oneself isn't a destination, like to understand yourself, you must do A, B, C, D. No, it's an entire journey. But on that journey, we discover quite a lot of interesting things, just like my own path. The further I go, the more intricate it becomes. Of course, I understand myself more each day, know what I want more each day, but it's clear that we humans are tiny in this vast universe, so there will be many more changes. We ourselves can't foresee them. With life experiences, with the people we meet, with things that happen, they can completely impact us, either greatly or minimally. But the further I travel that path, the more I see how much I change. So, with such constant change, I also think it's very difficult for anyone to understand us 100%. In fact, sometimes, they are also struggling with their own lives, trying to understand themselves. In relationships, we often compare ourselves to each other. Are you better to me than I am to you? Do you love me more than I love you? But we don't ask if we are happy with what we currently have. We often blame others. They don't understand us, they don't love us, they don't care about us. But let's ask ourselves, are our own actions and choices in life truly appropriate? And have we learned how to understand others? There was a period when I was a teenager, my friends. I faced many difficulties sharing my emotions with my family because I felt they didn't understand me. Of course, if understanding is possible, that's wonderful. But if not, then let's simply share with each other. We can tell each other what we want, we can share our thoughts instead of blaming or over-expecting. Let's be the ones to start learning to understand ourselves and understand others. When I'm in a relationship, arguments exhaust me, my friends. Those "I'm right, you're wrong" stories aren't as important as how much we value the relationship itself. The thing I believe I will continue to do and value more and more is exploring my inner world and understanding myself. Because I change so much every day. I become more honest with myself each day. I focus much more on myself and the path to understanding myself, rather than trying to be understood by others. Some of you ask, Sen, how can one understand themselves? In reality, there are no specific formulas, because I feel that given how different each of our lives is, what would a formula for self-understanding even look like? I've grown so much through life experiences, through the stories I encounter. In such phases, I always have a perspective on what happened. I take time to look back at myself, grateful for those who show me affection. I no longer want everyone to pity or care for me. I no longer want everyone to agree with my opinions. I no longer expect everyone to understand me 100%. And precisely by letting go of such thoughts, I feel everything has become much lighter. Perhaps what we focus on is what we become. So, if we focus on perspectives and things we cannot change, it will only make us increasingly tired. We cannot control others, nor can we change them. We can only change ourselves and our own perspectives. And that's what I wanted to share with you in today's podcast, the first podcast of the new year. No matter when you're listening to this podcast, Sen still hopes that you can live your present life fully, even if it's not perfect. See you in the next podcast episodes.